Hi and welcome along to the second edition of our podcast here on ArsenalFanTV called All Guns Blazing.
What you got going on your face for?
Because you're here, man. You're here. It's, DT's here with me, the controversial DT, the guy they call Mr. Marmite. You either hate him or you love him, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I still can't work out where I stand.
Come on now. You know you love me. Everyone loves me.
Yeah, but listen, good that you're in the house again, man.
All good, man. All good.
You know what, right? First of all, I've got to say, the last podcast we did blew up. That was our first podcast. I mean, even on YouTube, over 110,000 views, which was incredible for our first one. Mm-hmm. And also on that, we did the whole thing where we spoke about the atmosphere at the Emirates and how we can improve it. I just want to give people an update on that. First of all, the response that we had through emails is absolutely incredible. I mean, like hundreds of emails that we've received off of people with their suggestions. Mm-hmm. But what we're doing at the moment, we're compiling all those and then we're going to present them to the club. That should be done over the next couple of weeks. I've already spoken to somebody at the club and they know he's coming.
Ivan.
It's not Ivan. Why do you think I got this link into Ivan?
You have, man. You got his telephone number. I've been through your phone. I've been through your phone. I see it there. Right. Ivan the Terrible.
I wish I did. But I've spoken to a decent link at Arsenal. And he's going to make sure that that gets presented into the right people. So it's, you know, looking positive. And
there's been
some of the
good
suggestions in there.
You know, been some good ones.
The drum business. Everywhere I go, everyone keeps saying to me, is it true that DT's going to walk in there with a drum?
Yeah.
I was even next to a guy the other day at Swansea. And you know, at Swansea, some guy had a drum.
Yeah.
And everybody's Arsenal fans started saying, who's the wanker with the
drum?
drum?
Yeah.
That'd be DT.
I know. Do you know what? It was quite funny because when they were singing that, I looked at Troops next to me and he just looked at me and I was like, I can't wait.
Do you think, you know that, on that, do you think that'd be a good idea, the drum?
Yeah.
Because you know what?
What?
On the one aspect, right, last, time that when we was at Swansea, it was a bit annoying hearing that drum. But then when you looked at it, it got the crowd.
Created an atmosphere.
It got Swansea crowd going every time, didn't it?
Yeah, and it's a little stadium. They haven't got loads of fans. They haven't got 60,000 like we have. But it created something. And it got them going. Now this team are fighting relegation. They're in a bad place right now. But yet the fans were there in full support of the new manager, trying to get the team motivated and performing on the pitch. And let's be honest, for the first half an hour it was working.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
so...
And they had a good atmosphere. Even, do you know what I gave them credit for, right? Even when they were 3-0 down, the fans were still there.
This is something me and Troop spoke about. That even coming into the 89th and 90th minute, the game was a dead rubber by then. The last 15 minutes, everyone kind of went, game's done, let's just see it out sort of thing. And the fans stayed and they kept going. Yeah, some left, but there was no major
it was like a mass
spaces.
exodus like West Ham when we were
West Ham,
3-0.
Geez, we went 3-0, but it was before Andy Carroll had even scored a goal. And you could see white seats absolutely everywhere. It was empty.
So with this drum thing, I mean, because every time I keep going to games, people saying, is DT really going to come with his drum?
Yeah, I am. But we're just waiting for the permission. Just got to wait for permission from the club. I've already put it through what needs to be put through. But we have to wait. Yeah. And this is what people have got to understand, is that I keep getting people constantly messaging me going, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on? Arsenal have to authorise it. Yeah. Okay, because whether we like it or not, there's health and safety. You know, do they trust me with a pair of sticks not to shove them up someone's arse? When I get in a bad mood. And it's kind of like, and on the flip side of that as well, they want to know, what are you actually going to do with the drum? Can you play a drum? Can you... what kind of tunes are you going to be going with?
It's like art. This is a little bit of an art.
Yeah, they don't want me just coming in there like a crazed lunatic, smashing a drum and then launching it onto the pitch when we've lost. And, and there's
I'm starting to think it might not be a good idea.
But, you look at that and there's a lot that Arsenal have to decide over. And the same with away grounds. Before you go to any away ground, you have to notify them. And they have to give you authorization. Yeah. There are some grounds that will not accept it and will not allow you into the stadium with them.
I don't think they're at the Emirates actually. Let away fans in with a drum.
No, but the thing is, the reason why we put this forward to, in terms of us doing it, is number one is that Arsenal have had a drum before. And this is why I went with the idea, because we've had it before. It was a woman that done it. She got so much abuse that she stopped doing it and she stopped going to the games. And me, tongue in cheek, turned around and said, give me the drum. And it escalated from there. And I was like, do you know what? Yeah, I will do it. Because if it helps create an atmosphere, then I'm all for it.
And I tell you what, there was loads of suggestions from other fans, not just Arsenal fans. There's suggestions, right, in there from fans of all different clubs of things that they've done at their ground to get it going. There were some brilliant suggestions from fans from the US and Australia about how they do it over there. So all of those things, we're compiling it. What we're going to do, actually, once we finish compiling it properly and we put in exactly how we're going to present it, we'll do that in another podcast just before we present that to the club. All right, so that's real good. But what I wanted to speak about today was a bit about football nowadays and social media. Because football has changed a lot, as we know, with clubs and the money that's in there and stuff like that. But one of the other big revolutions in football is social media. I mean, that's why you've got like guys like us, ArsenalFanTV. That's why everybody's on Twitter now. I was saying to somebody the other day that when you watch a game of football nowadays, if you actually look at people watching that game, not necessarily in the grounds, but if you're watching it on TV, half the time people are on their phones interacting on social media about the actual game.
You can normally find out about a goal on Twitter before you would any other
platform. Before you see it on any other platform, you can look on Twitter or you can look on Facebook.
And you normally just see a thread growing with someone's name with loads of exclamation marks next to it, and you're like, oh, he just scored then.
And then, of course, after the games now, you've got guys like us. You've got Full-Time Devils, the Man United guys, Redmen TV, Liverpool, West Ham Fan TV, loads of guys reporting with fans after the game and stuff like that. Now, some people say it's a great thing. I think most people say it's a great thing. There's other people who are dead against it. They think, so I've had people accuse us saying that they feel it's embarrassing. We embarrass the club. And I wanted to listen, you're at the forefront of it because you're one of the guys that we interview. You're probably one of the guys that get the most views. You really divide opinion a lot, but people still like to watch you a lot. So I've had people email me and say to me, get that guy off, right? He's embarrassing our club, get rid of him. Then on the other aspect, I have loads of people, and you have loads of people coming up to you, showing you loads of love. So what's your thoughts? First, I'm going to start off on the whole Arsenal Fan TV. What's your thoughts on giving fans like you the opportunity to have a chat?
Do you know what? When I first watched Arsenal Fan TV, when I first saw it, it was actually your nephew that showed me about Arsenal Fan TV, because I know your nephew very well, and he always used to say to me, he'd be like, DT, man, you need to go on this, man. My uncle's got this channel, right? It's just starting out. You need to go on it. You need to, everything you talk to us about when we're in the clubs or at the weekend or whatever, you need to voice that. And I remember to begin with, I used to be one of these that used to sit back and watch. Like stand at the back, there weren't big crowds. Just listen to what other fans have got to say, whether there's like-minded people, whether there's people with totally different opinions to what I've got. Is it just me that sees, what I see on the pitch? Am I deluded, or are there other people that agree with what I do? And that's the whole basis of it. And it was really, really good to see that side of things. And then obviously, you had the big explosion of Chris when
Hudson,
he done his thing, and it kind of put Arsenal Fan TV to the forefront and kind of really put Arsenal Fan TV on the map in the sense of where you are today. And it's kind of, it brought the whole fan cam into the spotlight so much, whereas maybe only a few people knew it, a few thousand here or there. It made it a bigger audience, a more worldwide audience. So, and again, I was still just staying at the back. You might think this is hard to believe, but I was very nervous about going on camera to begin with. The simple reason being, and I'll tell you why, is because I used to watch your videos live, and I used to watch the videos afterwards. Anyone that I didn't see, I'd gone by then or anything else, I used to watch them when I get home. And And if anyone has experienced comments on YouTube, trust me, you have no idea. It is a ruthless place. And I didn't want to get involved in that kind of thing. I was worried about what they would say, and I've never been like that in a sense of worry what people say about me, but it was kind of, did I really want that? You know? And then I remember my first ever interview and it was a case of, I come out the stadium at Leicester, it was Leicester away, we drew 1-1. I was fuming. We was a day away from the transfer window closing. We hadn't brought anyone again. We was having to play Yaya Sanogo up front. Olivier Giroud had just broke his foot. And we're sitting there with all that money in the bank. And it was just, I came out and the first thing I walked into was you. And it was just like, at that moment, you had just finished an interview. And I literally just walked up and went, I want to say something. And that was it. And I just let loose. I let loose on that video and I said, and you know what the scary thing is, Robbie? Is I can look back at videos from 3 seasons ago and it's like I'm on repeat even now. Because I still have to say the same things about the same problems within our club over and over again. And it's like, do these problems ever get addressed?
I'm glad that you said how you got involved, just sort of explain to people, because it's funny. Yeah, the other day I was talking to this guy and he goes, do you audition for the people that come on? And I was like, pardon? And there's so many myths around it. Like, so for instance,
you pay
anybody, we pay us. There were suggestions. There were suggestions made in a newspaper, or a newspaper or website, that we pay you guys to come on, which is a load of rubbish. And basically, I always say this to people: there are people who become regulars on ArsenalFanTV. You are one of them. You were not a regular in the beginning, as you've just explained. You weren't even looking to come on. You've come on, and just by becoming popular, because people like to watch your videos, you become a regular. You know, Claude, people like that, they become regulars because people just like to hear from them. But ArsenalFanTV is open to everybody, and if you watch our videos every week, well, we've got about 6 guys that I'd say are regular. Right, 6, 7 guys that are regular guys that come on every week. But we always have probably about 20 videos every week.
All the time.
And you'll get people that'll overlook those videos and they say, you've got the same people every. No, and then the other thing that I just laugh about is I always try to explain to people. I say, well, if you don't like DT and you don't like his videos, if you don't like Troops, if you don't like Claude, if you don't like Chris, you don't have to watch them, because actually the way in which we do the format is that those 20 videos are all separate in their own right. So watch the others. So you have a complete choice, and yet still you'll have people saying that, you know, it's a thing where it's very hard to please everybody. Do you know what? But I've realised after a while,
you're not going to please
that it's
everyone.
about pleasing the masses. If 10 million people, which is what the sort of thing that we're averaging every month, if 10 million people are watching it every month, it can't be that bad. You know what I mean, right? But it is, you know, even when we look on it, it is, the way it's grown is incredible. I mean,
of course.
You know, the amount of fans that we've interviewed over the years, the amount of, you know, every away, as you know yourself, every away ground we go to, they know us just as well as the home, our own home fans.
You know, the thing that's really annoyed me is because I get people that say to me that I only started going to Arsenal since ArsenalFanTV come along. I sit there
I've got that as well.
I've seen that, and I just sit there laughing. And there was one the other week, and someone said it to me, and they were like, tell me what your seat number in the clock end was at Highbury. Let me know what row, blah, blah, blah. Now, there's a very, very well-known group that interact on Twitter and Facebook and whatever, and we're not going to mention no names, but one of the admins to their pages actually sat alongside me in the clock end, and he came forward and went, trust me, I know this boy, and I've sat with him from years and years and years ago at Highbury. And they kind of went, oh, okay. And then they move on to, well, you've only gone on ArsenalFanTV since the banner and to publicise yourself. And I'm like, like I've just explained. I've been on ArsenalFanTV since 3 seasons ago.
This guy,
way
said that to me the other day.
He
goes, "Oh, it's this old boy I was chatting to him, and he's going, oh yeah." He goes, "Yeah, I remember when we got beat by Luton in the League Cup final."
Yeah.
He goes, "You wouldn't know about that, Robbie, because you're only here since ArsenalFanTV." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I was there."
Yeah, of course I would. I remember it.
I'm
the one that had to go into school on a Monday morning in Luton, right? And back then, that was when everyone supported the team in their town. Now, let's just dispel another myth here as well, yeah? I might have been raised in Luton, but I was born in London. Okay, so there's a reason why I still support Arsenal, that even though my parents, when I was a child, moved down to Luton because of work purposes and whatnot, doesn't mean that I all of a sudden stop supporting Arsenal and become a Luton Town fan. No, I was literally the outsider. I remember that cup final, the year after we had played Liverpool, and we had beaten them 2-1, and we was like, walk over. We're 2-1 up, get a penalty. For some unknown reason, Nigel Winterburn takes this penalty, and Andy Dibble saves it. Still remember crying my eyes out, knowing what I was going to face Monday morning in school.
Yeah, so you know, when people say that, but you can't listen. It's just that.
And it makes you like. And do you know what? The funniest thing about that, you mentioned in that game, there was a guy that played in that game, a former Luton manager, Ricky Hill.
Ricky Hill, yeah.
And now I was with him only 2 weeks ago at a charity football match.
Nice guy as well.
Really nice guy, and he was talking to me about my son and with him playing and whatnot. And we got talking about that cup final, and I was like,
They actually had a good team.
Yeah,
Ricky
and
Hill,
I was
Brian,
like,
Steen,
right, yeah, Steen
David
brothers,
Moss, yeah.
David Priest,
yeah.
And it's just, they had a good side back then. And what people have got to remember, you might sit there now when we say Luton and you go, League Two, Conference, this, that, and the other. Luton are crap. Listen, Luton had a decent side back then.
Yeah, they're pretty decent.
In the 80s, they were a first division side just like us. No one wanted to go and play on the plastic at Kenilworth Road.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember they played that was when
they had a pretty decent firm as well. You had to be very watch yourself when you went down
back in the day. It was so.
But people, it's just made me laugh when that guy said that. But the internet has changed everything. Now,
of course it has.
I know that you, right, on Twitter, for instance, right, now, Twitter's a platform that we're all on, right? Now, I've seen you and other people on Twitter getting into it. I mean, Twitter's a great platform when people are talking about football. Like you said, you can go there, first of all, see results. You can be on Twitter and, talk about football with other like-minded people. But then another thing that I really don't like about Twitter is that it just seems to be a platform full of abuse and hate.
Yeah.
Where people just troll people 24/7. And a lot of people, I remember even with Ian Wright saying that he's coming off. He came off for a while because he said he's just had enough of people trolling him on it.
Yeah, we had
You get a lot of trolls on. How do you deal with it?
Shutting them down.
Because you get a lot of trolls, don't you?
Do you know what?
Every day I pick up my phone and I look on Twitter. Somebody's having a go at you.
Do you know what? The thing is, right, everyone knows about football Twitter. And we're not even talking about football Twitter here. I've had my abuse from football Twitter, from some, but they just disappear. They move on to the next person and whatnot. But what we've got at Arsenal within our fan base is a massive divide. You've got Wenger in and Wenger out. I don't believe that there's an in-between. I believe that you've got one preference or the other, whether you like it or not. And there's a minority on Twitter that want to send abuse. Now, on my previous Twitter account, which was suspended, okay, right?
Why? Why was that suspended?
They just didn't like the way that I answered back, and I got stitched up by a load of them. But it was, I even had to do a video, right, to explain it, and I even put the screenshots of the messages from Twitter, which proved it, because you had the same people going, oh, he was racist to someone.
Right.
And then everyone was going, okay, well, if he was racist, show us your proof. Nothing. He revealed someone's address. Okay, show us your proof. There was no proof. The only thing I did was retaliate. Yeah, all I did was retaliate. I've never brought anyone's children into it, anything like that. Yeah, I've gone at some people's wives before. Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because
they've gone at their wives for?
Because they've gone at my kids. So I go and attack them. So I'll have a little look at their profile, find out exactly who they are, and I won't go for their children. I'll go for their dirty, fat wives.
But that's not going to help the situation.
No, it ain't going to help the situation.
That's not going to help.
And I've learned that in that respect. And the way I've looked at it now is that, do you know what? Why should you respond to all these people all the time? And yeah, I do respond in that sense. I still respond now, but I don't go down that route no more. And I'm very much...
So you learned your lesson.
I learned my lesson in that respect. There are some that still wind me up to a point where I have to answer, but I don't go down that route of, you know, bringing people into.
How does it get from people talking about football and then end up talking about people's kids and stuff like that?
Because this is what they like to do, Robbie. They like to think they know they can't get you any other way. Right, so the best way to get you is attack you what's closest to you. Yeah, you can throw 1,000,000 rocks at me and they will all bounce off me. Yeah, if any one of you want to back your talk in terms of all the threats that you make to me online, be my guest. I've been to 31 games this season and none of you have backed your talk yet.
Yeah, but you don't want that.
No, I don't want that.
You don't want to go
I don't
to a
want
game.
that. I don't want that.
You have to be looking over your shoulder.
No, but I don't. I go to games and I enjoy myself. I enjoy myself. Watch the vlogs. You'll see how much I enjoy myself.
But what if one of these trolls turn up one day, right? And they turned up.
Good luck to them.
You know, mob banded, and they were like, yeah, all right, you know what, we're here now.
Yeah, good luck to them.
No, but listen, it's not a matter of...
No, I know. At the end of the day, the way...
We both of us, right, where we come from. Listen, I had an incident myself with a troll, right? Where when I then saw that troll, right, this was sort of earlier into when I was doing ArsenalFanTV. Mm-hmm. When I then saw that troll at a game and confronted him and said to him, listen, you said this, you said that, well, you know what, I'm here now. He completely bottled it. Yeah. I've had that on more than one occasion, right? Mm. And what that taught me is that actually, you know what, back in the day, you know, and people who know me will know,
it gets dealt with
back in the day that would get dealt with. Now, I've realised that actually these trolls are so ridiculous that the best thing to do is just to ignore them. Mm. They've got a mute function.
I know, and it's Twitter, the best. I do it now.
Right, well, you just mute them and they're literally talking to themselves. Yeah. They don't appear in your timeline, they don't anything, right? So why engage them? When you do that, you're just making it worse, right? Because what could happen, right, is that one of those trolls could turn up to a game, mob-banded. Yeah, it's not that they're going to beat you up or whatever like that, but you could get entangled with something with them and you end up getting banned from a game or something like that. Why? You know, what's the point?
I had it this season, didn't I?
Yes,
when I was about to go and do an interview with you, and I had one guy that, you know, that looked like Eazy-E. Yeah. It was Jericho, and he tried chucking his mouth to me, and he tried physically putting his hands on me, which he won't be doing again. And at the end of the day, I can't stop people from not liking me. I can't stop people from wanting to come and do anything to me.
But you can't if you start engaging with these trolls.
Listen,
right? So if you start engaging with them and arguing back with them,
yeah, well, what you got to understand,
make it worse.
What you got to understand is that sometimes they say certain things that need
mute them.
I know, but I need to respond to some of them because I can't have it. I'm so pissed off with some of them because I just sit there and I think, listen,
they've won.
You don't know nothing about me. You don't know. No, they haven't won. They don't know nothing about me. They don't know nothing about my life. They are sad, pathetic little weasels. And that's what they are. And what they do is that they sit there and they dedicate their life to talking about me. They dedicate their life to talking about ArsenalFanTV. I got one guy that says that he's actually in training so that when he comes over from the Far East in March, he's going to box me.
That does sound
and I'm like, listen, this guy...
somebody like Amir Khan, be careful.
Bruv, I've seen the picture of him. He looks like Tom Hanks in Philadelphia, man. Yeah? I have no worry whatsoever. If you want to come and approach me, you can. I had everyone telling me that I couldn't walk into a certain pub within Arsenal, okay? Because this X, Y, and Z was going to happen to me. I walked straight into that pub. I had more people ask for pictures than fights.
But hold on. When you respond to these guys...
Yes, I understand. I get what you're saying.
Right?
Yeah.
A troll, right? A troll That's what they want. They want to get a response out of you. I personally think that if you look on my Twitter, back in the day, on ArsenalFanTV Twitter, I used to get trolled hardcore.
What you've got to remember is...
calling me names, calling me this, calling me that, I'm an embarrassment, blah, 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 everything, right? I notice now that I don't get that much of it because they know that now that's completely ignored. Well, they could talk till the cows come home, mate. You're not going to get...
What you've got to remember...
You're not going to get... Hold on, DT. You're not going to get a response out of me.
No, you're not the one that does that. And it's, what you've got to remember is, look at how much I responded 6 months ago to now. Yeah. And it's very rare.
No, you have. I'll give you that.
I'm nearly there. Yeah. I'm nearly there. Yeah. I am nearly there.
That's because you got your account suspended, though.
No, nothing to do with that because at the end of the day, I've spoke to Twitter about that. And the simple fact is that I got involved in too many arguments and they shut me down.
But you're learning now, don't you? And you know what? This is a good message for people out because it ain't just you who gets trolled. There's lots of other people, even people who've got small accounts who get trolled. And my message to everybody on that is just, what? It's hard sometimes.
Do you know what? This is the thing,
there's people who troll me and I'm like, I've seen them, as I said, I've seen them.
I'll tell you what winds me up. Right? This is what really, really pisses me off now, right? Is that there's accounts out there that are not accounts, where you've got a normal person running an account and then they might get into a dispute with you about something. There are accounts physically set up to just harass you, right? Now, there's one in particular on Twitter, which I've spoke to you about, right? Now, this account is dedicated to me, right? I have blocked this account. I have muted this account, yet every couple of days they are still putting screenshots of my tweets up and constantly going and trying to spread hate in and around me. It's now got to a point where they've started tweeting about my son, right, and which professional academy he plays for, and tweeting them and trying to put my son down, saying that he doesn't play.
What happens when you report things like that?
Well, the thing is that this account, what he seems to do is he puts the tweet up. Now, normally it takes 24 hours or so for Twitter to deal with the taking down and whatnot. And by the time that 24 hours has elapsed, they've already removed it. And then Twitter sends you a message saying, it looks like the user has already removed the material, blah, blah, blah. Yeah? I'm very open and honest about myself and who I am and everything else, right? I had a couple of court appearances recently, right? It was for a driving offence and for a custody hearing with my son. Yeah? Nothing to be ashamed of. We've all been there, not done anything wrong. Yet, they went and found the courtroom's log thing, which says about who appears in the courts and whatnot, and they screenshot it and post it online.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, post that online saying, look at DT, look at this criminal, blah, blah, blah. Do you know the reasons behind my court appearance? Do you know that I've been fighting for custody of one of my children for 2 years? That I've spent 15 grand in court fees to get what is rightfully mine and to do what I've had to do. No, you just see a court appearance and think that I'm in there for murder or something. You don't know no facts, but yet you feel that you want to spout your bullshit online. People like that, they're the ones that need a good slap.
You're right, but it's so.
I know, but that one
is so hard though.
And that I don't respond to. I don't respond.
But
how
many followers have they got? That particular.
About
account?
600 odd, and conveniently, all of its followers are the ones that send the abuse to me, right? The ones that want his name is dedicated to our manager, right? And all they spout, basically, if you're Wenger out, you're getting it. Now, they've tried it with troops. They've even gone to memes. Yeah, this account goes to so much effort to dig up anything about you, to do nothing.
It is really, as I said, it's supposed to be, and this is the point of this, is that this is supposed to be about football. And
but it goes off that.
Talking about, it's absolutely ridiculous.
It goes off that. And the thing is, Robbie, is that what you've got to understand here.
It's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah, what you've got to understand as well, right, is that with with accounts like this, like I said, they're designed to just try and humiliate you. And that is all they're there for. No other reason whatsoever. Yeah.
Let me ask you, let me put this to you then, right? Time's running, but let me put this to you. What about the other day, your attack on John Cross?
Yep.
Now, you went in hard on him. Hard. I've met John Cross, right? And he's a nice guy. He's got Arsenal at heart.
Good for him.
He, right? He used to write for the Islington Gazette way back in the day,
done.
right?
I'll make sure Blue Peter badge is in the post for that.
Listen, he's actually an Arsenal fan. He's an Arsenal fan, right? But he's a journalist as well. And journalist, he works for the Daily Mirror. He also has to do stories,
Robbie,
to sell newspapers. Hold on. He's got to do stories to sell newspapers, right? Now, his story about Ozil, and then your sort of the way you attacked him, you think that was fair? I mean, he went in a bit hard, didn't he?
No, that was light work. That was...
Well, maybe light work the way you went in on him, yeah, but
no, listen,
don't you think
Robbie,
he was a bit OTT with that?
No. If John Cross would have reported that story and reported facts and reported...
He hasn't reported the facts.
No, he hasn't. He lied. He lied.
He didn't lie.
Robbie. His tweet, right, was very clear. Mesut Ozil will only sign if Arsene Wenger signs.
No, he implied... No,
Robbie, now you're going to listen to me, right? That was his tweet, okay? There was no,
but that's the...
And that was not what was said. That is not what Ozil said. We've already got to the bottom of this, right?
Yeah,
Ozil did not say that. Now, this is my issue. If we had a very strong fan base, if we wasn't living in the world that we live in, then people can read up the facts, realise that he's not talking shit, and deal with that. The problem I have is right now, our fan base is so split, it's so fractious.
People will say because of people like you, with banners and things like that.
They can say whatever they want. The problems were there way before the banners came along.
But that makes it worse, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't make it worse. It's a fan voicing their opinion. And if I pay my good money,
in a game, you got a banner up. Doesn't that make it? I remember when you held that banner up. People were saying at the end of that game.
You tell me when I've held a banner up.
You held up
in a game.
You've held up. No, all right. You held up after a game, but you held it after a game we won.
So
right, which what it then did, right, is it took away. Everybody was talking about the banner.
That's the idea.
Rather than the win.
That's the idea.
Yeah, so...
I want you to talk.
So that's what I'm saying.
Because we want you to talk about...
Like you said, I've seen you say before in your videos, you're not in North Korea, and fair enough.
Exactly.
You were able to hold it up, but it does divide opinion, and it does get people angry.
Yeah. And
what's the difference then between you and John Cross then in that?
Because I haven't lied about anything, Robbie. I haven't sat there and lied. I haven't stuck a banner up with a lie on it.
But I think lie's a bit harsh because...
No, it isn't. It's not. It's a lie.
It's a bit harsh. It's a lie. Hold on.
Because the best thing is
we know how newspapers work.
No, but Robbie...
They take a story and they make an angle to it.
Yes, but I tell you what John Cross done. That wasn't even an angle. That was a completely different direction. Yeah, it was something that Mesut Ozil had never said. Now, by him doing that, right, it then meant the fan base were at loggerheads with each other, right? That night when he released that, right, Twitter was in meltdown. Not only did you have Arsenal fans arguing with each other over Ozil fuck off or no, want him to stay because it's Wenger and this reason. You then had rival fans finding it hilarious and putting in their thoughts as well. Right? And then within an hour of him putting that out and realising what backlash he had caused, he then tried dampening down the fire and trying to say what really had sort of been said. But by that point, it had already been done.
Sometimes even with these journalists, they don't write the headline. They write the story, they come up with the story. So I'd heard that a couple of months ago, and I'm sure I even told you that.
No.
I even told you at the time, I said, you know what? I heard a rumour, right? And I remember telling this to you, right? And I said to you, I heard a rumour that Ozil and Sanchez are both saying before they sign they want to know what's happening with Wenger.
But that is
Did I not say that?
But that is only a rumour.
So
but there's no interview. There's no publication to back that theory.
No, but that's what he's done. He's taken that rumour and he's reported it in Britain.
No. Ozil has only just done an interview with Kicker magazine in Germany. right? This is where it came from. This is not something from a few months ago or anything else. This is a fresh interview. Now, there's no quotes have come out from Kicker. It wasn't Kicker that sat there and put out quotes saying Ozil said this and that. They didn't do an interview with Mesut Ozil and then twist certain things that he said. They put Mesut Ozil's interview out there word for word. The English media, John Cross, then get that and completely twist it. Now, I've heard from people within the club, Ozil was fuming at what was said because, like I said to you, he was being character assassinated because of these journalists and their lies. They caused
Is it
nothing.
just because you didn't like what he said?
No, it's nothing
and
to
then
do
you're
with...
thinking to yourself,
Robbie,
oh, you know what, now
no, because
the pendulum's
Robbie,
swinging against me because
it's nothing
wanna...
to do with that because I want what's best for Arsenal. Yeah, I want what's best for Arsenal. I want.
But you'd like Wenger to go, wouldn't you?
I want Wenger to go, and I want Mesut Ozil to stay.
Right. So if Mesut Ozil says,
wait there.
I'm only going to stay. Right, if he's implying I'd like to stay, but I want Wenger to stay as well. You don't really like that, do you? You don't like that, do you?
Wait, listen to me. I'm going to answer it. If Mesut Ozil has said that, then he's not right for the club. Okay?
So get rid of Ozil.
I'll tell you why. Because if a player cares more about the manager than playing for the team, then they're not right.
Oh, come on, man. If you go into work every day, right, your job, and you've got a boss that you've worked with for a long time, that boss employed you. That boss brought you in,
but
right?
Welcome to the real world.
That boss brought you in.
Welcome to
right?
the real world.
You enjoy working with that boss, right? And you know that there's rumours that the boss might be on the move, right? And you're looking to sign a new extension to your deal at your workplace. You've got other options. There's other jobs, other work.
But what you've got to remember is...
Hold on, let me finish.
No, I know where you're going. I know exactly where you're going with it.
There's other workplaces that would like you, that will pay you even more money. But you enjoy working with this guy. So you're asked the question, is he staying or is he going? Before I sign this thing, I'd like to...
But Robbie...
So, what, I'm not right for the club because I want to know what's happening with Wenger?
What you're saying is completely different to what reality is. Now,
that is reality.
Mesut Ozil has not said, and let's get this straight, Mesut Ozil has not said, I'm only signing a contract to Arsenal if Arsene Wenger signs one as well.
You're right there.
Right.
He hasn't.
Now, Mesut Ozil, I have no problem whatsoever with Mesut Ozil saying, can you let me know what the situation is? All right? Because if I was in his position, I'd be the same.
That's what John Cross is...
No. Listen, John Cross has not said that. John Cross has stated, and word for word, John Cross has said, Mesut Ozil states he is only staying if Arsene Wenger does. That's no...
But he may not have written the headline. That's what I'm saying.
It was him. It was John Cross.
I know that with journalists,
listen,
right?
But John Cross took the Kicker magazine interview, and that was his story he came up with. That was the issue. I've got no problem with Mesut Ozil saying what's going on with the manager. Because let's say, for argument's sake, right, Arsenal have got two candidates to take over, right? Let's say the far-reached one, right, which would be an Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
Yeah? That would be the real gamble one, yeah? No Champions League experience, no real top club experience, no credentials behind him apart from Bournemouth, you know. When you're putting that all on the table to Mesut Ozil in a contract and you're saying, here you go, Mesut, Arsenal's leaving, this is who we're getting to take over. Ozil's got to look at that and say, is this right for me? Will this man deliver the trophies that I want? I'm at a critical age in my career. I can't wait 4 or 5 years for him to be good, yeah, because my career will be finished by then. I need now. Or,
is it right,
or Arsenal come to him, for example, and say, here you go, Mesut, we're bringing in Diego Simeone, or we're bringing in Joachim Löw, for example. Mesut Ozil will look at that and go, right, Simeone, 2 Champions League finals in 3 years, does this, does that. You look at Joachim Löw, he's my manager at Germany, he's a World Cup winner. Mesut Ozil would have more confidence to sit there and go, yeah, I trust the direction the club's going. I think with this manager at this club, I can fulfil my ambitions.
What are you going to do if he stays, Wenger?
What am I going to do? Make more banners. I'm not stopping, Robbie. Listen, I'm not stopping, right?
What are you going to do if he stays?
You know what? I think...
Listen,
do you know what? Yeah, he's going to stay.
I read a thing the other day where they said, this is another rumour, so it's nothing. I think it was Steve Stammers. And he wrote and he said that he's heard that Arsene Wenger will sign a new contract by March during the international break when England are playing. Wenger will sign a new deal.
What I got to say to this, is
if Wenger, all right, I know your position already on Wenger, but let me give you a scenario. End of the season, Wenger wins the Premier League, and then the club say to him, "Yeah, we want to offer you an extension." Would you then, after that, be taking out banners and that, or would you then say, "Fair enough"?
I've said to you many a time during an interview this season, only 2 trophies are acceptable this year. Not an FA Cup, not a League Cup. We're already out of that anyway. It's the Premiership or the Champions League. Ideal world, I would love Arsenal to win the Premiership and to bow out.
But if he's
ideal world. But if Arsenal wins the Premier League and Arsenal offer him a new contract, not even I can moan. You can't moan. Okay. My issue is...
What about this scenario 2? Right? Okay. He doesn't win the league or the Champions League, but he really puts up a good fight this season. It's not like seasons gone by. It's like it comes down. Remember a couple of seasons ago when Man City, they won it off the last kick. It comes down to the last game or something, and we were right in it to the end, and it just happened that the better team just got over the line just in front of us. But real progress shown, real fight. We only just didn't succeed. And then they then turn around and say, right, Arsenal, we'll offer you another extension to your contract plus a bit more money to spend. Would you then... hold on. No, would you then want him to stay? You know what? Would you be all right with that?
No, you've kind of got to look at how the season pans out. You can't really predict
what's I'm telling you, I'm giving you a scenario of how it's going to pan out.
But even so,
what would you...
Even so, there's so many other factors that you have to look into it.
No, you do, Robbie. I'm giving you a scenario.
Your scenario
is
your scenario is not broad. It is very, very...
Basically, my scenario is he puts up a brilliant fight right up to the end of the season, either the Champions League or the Premier League, but just doesn't quite manage to pull it off. Does he have to go for you?
Yep. Because it's another year to add to the 12 of failures.
Okay.
It's not like... everyone seems to have this big thing now, right? All of Wenger's little minions.
But it's not easy to win the Champions League. It's not easy to win the Premier League with the teams that are out there now. It's very, very tough.
That's fine, but we've been to one final in 20 years. That's not progression.
Champions League final in 20 years.
Yeah, we've been to one Champions League final. Yeah. We've won three league titles in 20 years. How
many have Liverpool won?
We're not Liverpool.
But that's how tough it is, though.
I don't care.
I'm just trying to show you how tough it is. Look how hard Pep Guardiola's finding it at the moment.
Listen, I don't care
Mourinho
about anyone
else.
I don't care.
But you have to.
No, you don't, because we're a totally different...
Listen,
we are a different club.
No, we know we don't care about... We only care about us.
This is the thing, right? What you've got to remember is that you're basing these managers now, they're all just starting out on their journeys. Jurgen Klopp, Jose Mourinho at Man United.
A lot of people wanted Pep Guardiola, right? No.
I would still take him tomorrow.
Right?
All day long. But I tell you what it is, I think that Pep Guardiola is the right manager in the wrong job at Man City. I think he's got an ageing squad, a squad that he doesn't want.
He could still get it right.
He could still get it right.
I still think he's a brilliant manager.
I honestly look at Pep Guardiola on the sidelines, and when I looked at him at Everton, I honestly think he looked like he's a couple of months away from walking away from the job.
But then again, hold on, right? Because this, again, when we talk about managers getting stick and stuff like that, right? And I'm playing a bit of devil's advocate here, but...
No, that's a surprise.
But Pep Guardiola, you say that, you're starting to blame other factors, the ageing squad and that. But you look at his decisions that he's made. It was him who said get rid of Joe Hart and bring in that, bringing the keeper that he's brought in that's made all those mistakes. That was his decision. Yeah. He had an established keeper there, experienced keeper, experience of winning things, of playing with a team, experience in the Premier League. Yeah. That was Pep. Yeah. Nobody else. It's Pep who signed John Stones, who to me has been dreadful this season. He gets overlooked because he's an English guy, and we all want him to play well because it's England and that. But in that defence, everybody will talk about Otamendi and guys like that. The worst defender for me in that defence at the moment is John Stones. He paid £50 million for him. He bought Leroy Sané. He bought Gundogan. He bought all these guys, right? They're the worst or Gundogan's had injuries.
Yeah.
But they're some of the worst performing guys in the team. That's Pep, right? So that's what I'm saying, right? If Wenger got down to the end of it and really had given it, because it's tough to win the Premier League. I want to win the Premier League just like you want to win the Premier League. I can't even remember what it's like to win the Premier League no more. And it used to be a thing that we were so used to doing. But look at the teams that are in there now. I mean, even Spurs now, they've got a very good team. We have to admit. I mean, it's very tough.
Do you know what, Robbie?
To win it. It's going to be... It's the hardest league to win is the Premier League. Pep, who walked it in the Bundesliga, in Liga, who walked it in La Liga, is here now, and he's like getting beaten 4-0 by Everton.
Yeah.
Who a couple of weeks ago, by the way, we lost 2-1 to, and there was an absolute meltdown. Yeah, let's remember that as well. They've lost 4-0 with all the money they've spent, with the world-class manager they've got.
Jesus Christ.
They got beaten 4-0.
Yeah, and if you remember, we were 3-0 down to Bournemouth, for fuck's sake.
We didn't lose.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but we were still 3-0 down.
And you didn't give a team no credit for coming back.
Of course I don't, because why did they go 3-0 down to them in the first place?
True, but he's 4-0 down. He didn't get. They were 3-0 down.
I don't care about Man City. I don't care about Liverpool. I don't care about Man United.
No, it isn't.
No, I don't. Listen, we have. Listen to me. Listen to me. We have the most settled squad out of everyone in terms of it's been there the longest. We've got the manager that's been there the longest. There's no upheavals. There's no major changes of personnel between manager, backroom staff, coaches, and players, and all of this. Liverpool's kind of got their half a season with Klopp under his belt. Look how well they're doing. Conte comes straight in. Conte comes. It doesn't matter. Listen, Conte comes in.
It doesn't matter.
Listen, just listen to me, right? Conte comes in. He doesn't make wholesale changes. He buys one player, right?
Because they had a settled team as well.
Yeah, he gets spanking from us and decides I'm not going to bed this system in slowly. It's being done now. We're going to free at the back, which I'm comfortable with. You're either part of it or you're out. Look at them. And it's as much as you and myself wind them up, Man United have looked a lot better over recent weeks, more settled. And I know we take the piss out of them, but they're unbeaten in 13, 14 games in all competition or something like that. So Mourinho's starting to slowly work what he wants to do within the team. Players are starting to go out now, and like they've just got rid of Depay and stuff like that. So he's getting rid of his what he calls dead wood. And this is the thing. Come next season,
you're contradicting your whole.
No, I'm not contradicting nothing because what I'm saying.
You keep saying to me that you don't care about the teams around you.
No, but I'm saying.
Hold on. Now you're mentioning the teams around you.
Yeah, because I'm giving you an explanation about them as to why they can get away with not winning the league this year. Because it's all about a building process with them. We've been building at Arsenal for 12 years. When we were trying to build in 05 and 06 and whatever. We're building a team, and then Chelsea come along and win everything, and then we'd end up breaking that team up. And we built about 4 teams since the Invincibles.
I'm with you. We should have won the league by now. It's unacceptable. But what I'm trying to say is this, right? Is that you can't just say you don't care about the teams around you, because those are the teams that you're going to have to try and get past to win the league. And what I'm saying is, especially this season, I've never seen a season like this where there's so much pressure. That
last year,
even you're playing, it's like the middle of the season, and you can't even afford to even draw a game because you just dropped so far back.
What, Robbie, last season and this season are Arsenal's 2 biggest chances of winning the Premier League.
I think last
season definitely.
Last season
the reason why this season was a big chance is because everyone else that is around us is going through transition.
Yeah,
but
then having said that, you've got teams like Tottenham. Right,
yeah, they're the only ones that are settled.
Right?
They're the only ones.
They're a settled team.
And they're above
You've got
us.
Liverpool, right, but every team has their own little advantages. So you've got Tottenham, who are settled, right? You've got Liverpool, who have no Champions League football. That means they go full pelt into every game.
This is why I'm saying
You've got Chelsea, you've got no Champions League football. They go full pelt into every game. The transition teams for me really are Man United and Man City. They're the 2 that are really in transition, right? Because they've had a lot of changes of manager and personnel. However, it ain't bad when you can bring in Paul Pogba, Ibrahimovic, and that. That's not it's not a tough transition where half your team's gone and
they still got a bed in.
So it's still. It's going to be very tough.
Listen, to answer your question, because you've gone all around the houses, yeah.
How have I gone around the houses? I'm just trying to make the point that,
Devil's advocate, you might as well are you sitting on a chair or a fence? I can't work it out. But what I'm saying to you is that if Arsenal does not win the Premier League or the Champions League, I don't care if he loses it on the last kick of the game. He's got to go.
Okay.
All right? As far as I'm concerned, he is finished. He's lost it. He's not what he used to be. He hasn't been for a long time. And if he really loved this club, he'll pass it down to someone else, younger, fresher, new ideas, new approach.
Okay, listen, it's always good to talk with you, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pleasure, innit?
How do we end up there? We started off, we was talking about trolls.
Oh, I don't know, man. you just kind of diverted me off, man, and it's just kind of like... But yeah, let the trolls carry on, man, because they're on mute. I made a tweet yesterday and I made it clear that I don't mind answering back to people in terms of you want to have a debate about football. But the moment you start using your famous words of nonce, pedo, check the man's hard drive and all this bullshit, you get muted. And then if you carry on and I see you on one of my threads and you're still spouting your rubbish, I'll block you.
Best way.
And that's the way it is. I've got big plans for this year. We've all got big plans for this year, and I'm not going to let no little 15-year-old virgin with spots ruin what I've worked hard for.
With his sock.
So we were wanking in his sock. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, listen, we've all got differences of opinion. I've tried, Robbie, to bring the fan base together. I've said before the season started, I'm not going to bring out the banner this year. I want everyone. There's some people out there that will always have an agenda against me, regardless. Listen,
that's the end of the podcast. The podcast's available on SoundCloud, on iTunes. You can also watch it here on YouTube. Listen, make sure you subscribe to us. DT's also got a channel. Make sure you subscribe to his channel as well. And yeah, listen, we'll be back. This is a regular thing. We'll be doing podcasts each and every week. And yeah, it's good to talk, man. Good to talk.